All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. As today we take a deep dive on one of their best undrafted free agents. That's Corey Kiner, former Cincinnati Bearcat, former LSU Tiger. We'll talk about Corey Kiner coming up here in a second. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And they do run out. So get there early, get some brisket. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Krug sent you. This video is also brought to you by our good friends at LearnKey Upskill Academy, an online learning platform designed to get you job ready in 6 months or less, whether you're interested in IT, cybersecurity, could be any high-demand field. They offer over 30 certification programs to help you take that next step in your professional career. Great company. They've been in business for 37 years. They've worked with over 200,000 students. And they place about 100 graduates a month in really well-paying jobs. So the link's in the description below. Check them out. And, of course, we're also brought to you by Claw Daddy Arcades. They're a great follow on Instagram at Claw_Daddy_Arcades to find a Claw Daddy Arcade location near you. All right, let's talk a little bit about the 49ers. The one thing about the Niners is they always, it's funny. The Niners back in the 80s had a couple advantages on their coaching staff in the name of Bob McKittrick and Ray Rhodes. You say, well, where was the advantage? Well, they weren't just great coaches. These guys were great at identifying the kinds of players that could succeed in their system. And oftentimes the Niners were able to not draft defensive backs high for the most part, even though they drafted Ronnie in round one. For the most part, though, they did not draft defensive backs early on, and because Ray Rhodes could always spot really good defensive backs later on. So they passed on first-round corners and went with the Don Griffins and the Tim McKyers of the world for years and years and years. And then on the offensive line, Bob McKittrick, I think Harris Barton might have been the only first-round draft choice on Bob's offensive line. For the most part, the Niners went with late-round guys, Jesse Sapolu, late day 3. Guy McIntyre, and these guys were not necessarily, first or second round draft choices. But they got a lot of production out of their offensive line, and that's how the Niners became a dynasty. There really is. I mean, there was Joe and Steve and Walsh and Seifert and all that, but really McKittrick enabling them to draft offensive linemen late and find guys who fit their system and excelled in their system late, and then Ray Rhodes' ability to find corners and safeties and defensive backs late. The Chet Brookses, the Jeff Fullers, these guys, Ray Rhodes had a great eye for it. And now, fast forward to 2025, and I think the Niners have two guys that kind of fit that same profile. They're still not drafting offensive linemen high because Chris Forrester feels like he can do it with guys that were drafted later. And they proved it last year with Dom Pooney in the third round, coaching him up and getting him ready to play at a pretty high level. But there's a couple other spots on this roster as well that the 49ers are really good at identifying players that they can use. Johnny Holland has done an amazing job at linebacker, identifying guys that they can use. But to me, the number one guy on the staff when it comes to this is Bobby Turner, who's always had a great eye for talent. And he has been able to find late round and undrafted running backs for the 49ers, and before that for Mike Shanahan and the Denver Broncos. This guy has been doing it for a long time. The Niners, you look at what the Niners have done as far as undrafted rookie running backs: Matt Breida, Jeff Wilson, Jordan Mason. And I think this year we're going to add another name to that list, and that's Corey Kiner. So let's talk a little bit about Corey Kiner. I almost feel like I need to share the screen and just kind of show you a little bit of my buddy James Foster's tweet on Corey Kiner. He's got a minute-long video here that we'll play in the background. And here's Corey Kiner. And the contact balance is what strikes you. Look at the contact balance on this back. He's not a big back. He's not a fast back. But he's a great running back. He's got great contact balance. He's got great vision. He's got great toughness. This is a really, really good football player and has been for a long, long time, going back to high school. So let's talk a little bit about Corey Kiner. He is it's probably the biggest discrepancy between weight and how big he plays. The guy's got crazy power, crazy contact balance at 208 pounds. He's wearing number 49, by the way, for the 49ers. And the Niners have two 49s right now. They have Jacob Robinson on defense wearing 49 and Corey Kiner on offense wearing 49. But this guy was an incredible player going back to high school. In fact, he set the career rushing yard mark of his high school with 3,842 yards back in 2021. So he's been an incredibly productive player for a long, long time. If you look at some of the numbers, contact balance, the guy's got tremendous contact balance. Ashton Genty forced the most missed forced tackles this year with 125. Cam Scatabo and Corey Kiner were tied for second with 82 each. So he's got great contact balance. He really does. He's a guy that has tremendous balance. You're not going to knock him off his pins on the first hit. You're just not. As far as elusive rating, according to PFF, this is a PFF stat, Ashton Genty, 217.6, number one in all of college football. Number two in all of college football, Corey Kiner at 163.8. So he's got the second best elusive rating according to PFF. He forced the second most forced missed tackles, according to the stats. As far as PFF rush grade, Omarion Hampton, was fifth overall. R.J. Harvey was seventh overall. Corey Kiner was eighth overall, 88.3 PFF rush grade. And yards after contact per attempt, number 4 on the list, Omarion Hampton at 4.3 yards per contact after yards per attempt after contact. DJ Giddens of K-State was second at 4.16. He was fifth, I should say, and sixth on the list, Corey Kiner at 4.12. So he's among the league leaders, or among college football's leaders in yards after contact per attempt, in PFF's rush grade, in missed forced tackles, and in elusive rating. And he went undrafted. So this guy's really underrated. I think he's ultimately going to outplay Jordan James, the 5th-round draft choice at running back. It wouldn't be the first time it happened. Kyle Shanahan has got a great history of maximizing running backs, and they're looking for guys that fit their scheme, and Bobby T has a great eye for it. Corey Kiner was the 26th running back recruit in the nation going back to 2021. This is according to 247 Sports. He began his career as a highly recruited running back at LSU and played well for LSU. Didn't miss any time, played well, was productive. Transferred back to his hometown Cincinnati Bearcats because he wanted to play in front of his friends and family. And LSU, I'm sure, had a can full of backs. And, he could play more at Cincinnati, and he could play in front of his friends. He said only his mom and dad could go watch him in Baton Rouge. So he transferred to play in front of his hometown friends and family, and then went over 1,000 yards each season at Cincinnati, 5.6 yards per tote in 23 and 24. So, those are great numbers. Now, he's not the most spectacular athlete. He's not. You're going to find athletes that are better athletes than Corey Kiner. There's no question. There are really a good enough athlete. He ran 4.57 at the combine. He's 5'8", 208 pounds. You say, gosh, is that what do you think of that size? It's the exact same size as Emmitt Smith. He's basically the exact same size as Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith was 5'9", 208. This guy's 5'8", 208. The 4.44 short shuttle at his pro day wasn't great. That was not a great number. But, this is a position where this is not a track meet. This is about instincts. It's not about how fast you are. The running backs who do the best are not. It's not like the fastest guy do the best and the slowest guys do the worst. It's just not the way it works. It's an instinctive position. So, would I like him to be faster? Sure. But if he had been faster, he would have been drafted a lot higher instead of being undrafted. But running back is that one position where athleticism isn't as predictive for future success at the pro level, because there's a lot of things that go into being a great running back. How tough are you? What kind of heart do you have? What kind of desire do you have? What kind of spatial processing do you have? What kind of contact balance do you have? These are all vitally important components to being effective at the running back position. And this guy's elusiveness and contact balance were absolutely off the charts. Off the charts. He's very, very elusive. His contact balance is extraordinary. And, you can see it. I mean, you can absolutely see it when you're watching the highlights of Corey Kiner. I mean, he's got incredible contact balance. He's a guy who's really, really tough to bring down. He's not going. Now, I'll say this for the Niners: they sure got whatever they paid for their scouts to go out to the East-West Shrine game in Frisco, Texas. They got their money's worth, because just from the Shrine Bowl alone, the Niners drafted C.J. West, Marquise Siegel. They added Corey Kiner, Isaiah Nayer, and Jacob Robinson all after the draft. So the 49ers had 5 different guys who were at the Combine. And Corey Kiner was coached at the East-West Shrine game. Corey Kiner was coached at the East-West Shrine game by 49ers offensive assistant Miguel Reveles at the Shrine Bowl. So they had a firsthand, up-close look at Corey Kiner. And you know what? There's no question, this guy, was obviously opened up the eyes of Miguel Reveles. And if you look at what Corey Kiner did this last season, he forced 82 missed forced tackles just last season alone. He's got a low center of gravity. He's got an explosive feet for a smaller back, and he finishes aggressively. And if you look at some of his, if you say, well, he's not fast, but his max speed was 20.4 miles per hour. That was 75th percentile in the country. His IGA score was 91.2. That's 91st percentile in the country. His transition time, 0.38 seconds, 65th percentile in the country. So this guy runs behind his pads. He's violent. He runs with violent intent. He's got quick trigger cuts. He's got a nasty spin move. And this guy is a tone-setting player. I mean, I told you there's good players, there's great players, and then there's tone setters. Tone setters are rare. They're leaders. They're the guys that get everybody else ready to play. This guy is a tone setter. This is a guy who wears down defenses in the fourth quarter. This is a running back that runs really, really hard, really, really angry. You'd never guess this guy was under 210 pounds. He runs with the power of a 225-yard back. He's violent. He runs angry. He's just a fun player to watch. The speed is not going to knock you off. Is not going to, wow you. And some of the explosiveness that the top running backs in this draft class have, Corey Kiner doesn't have. But, man, his run style, his aggressiveness as a ball carrier, I think it could be an asset to any team in the league, and the Niners have them. And their record with undrafted free agents is awesome. Breida, hit. Wilson, hit. Jordan Mason, hit. And I think Corey Kiner's the next one. He is my favorite under-the-radar running back prospect in this entire draft class. This guy went from Mr. Ohio football as the best senior in high school in the entire state of Ohio, regardless of position, to starting at LSU, to going back home and playing in front of his friends and family, to breaking the 3rd most tackles in this draft class. So Corey Kiner, man, remember that name, remember that game that other backs just don't have. As you can see, he can catch it out of the backfield. He'll take hard hits. He'll lower his pads at contact and then just bounce off guys. He doesn't give you a big surface area because he is only 5'8", 5'9", so there's not a lot of back to hit. He's not going to wow you with all kinds of, wow, this guy took it 95 yards and he was gone. He got to the corner, he got to the edge, and he was just down the sideline. No, that's not this guy. This is the guy that after you get the lead and you're trying to grind out the game and, this would be the replacement for Elijah Mitchell. He's not going to fumble. He's going to take it up there hard between the tackles. He's got great second and third effort. He's going to fight and claw for every yard. He's going to dip his shoulder and try to get those extra yards. He's going to run to daylight. And I think this is one of the bigger steals the Niners got during draft weekend. I cannot wait to watch this guy. Now, in the rookie minicamp, there were 2 highlight plays. One was a Tanner Mordecai pass to Isaiah Nair. The other was a Corey Kiner spin move where he just got loose down the middle of the field through contact. So remember that name, Corey Kiner. To me, I think this guy's going to be one of the real sleepers this summer in 49ers camp. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to LearnKey Upskill Academy and Claw Daddy Arcades for sponsoring this video. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.